Hey guys, it's your boy Cole, and we are going to be introducing a brand new type of video style on my channel that has been highly requested, guys. I cannot emphasize, it's been like a tidal wave of requests for this, and this is going to be the 7 reasons to play a particular job. I say 7 because lucky 7s, right? But my goal is to give a digestible overview and hopefully inspire people to pick up the job or learn a few cool facts about it. I figured that we'd kick this series off with Astrologian, as I have done a lot of healing, as you guys very much know, and Astrologian is a standout example of awesome. Sounds good? Let's get right into it. Reason number 1 is that the Astrologian is by far the most involved healer in the game with its card system. All healers are given a pretty rough time if we're being honest about their fairly basic DPS rotation. And don't get me wrong, you will still be spamming an ability called Malefic a ton on Astrologian. There might just be a fall in front of that Malefic, but it's still Malefic spam. But the card system incredibly shakes up the moment-to-moment gameplay and makes Astrologian the most involved healer when it comes to its general rotation. Not to mention, who doesn't love buffs? This is going to make you a party favorite. Everyone likes seeing their numbers be really high on their abacus. And as I always as I always say and then see, is that morale is the #1 thing if a group is going to succeed in content. If you can keep everyone's morale really high, you know what, that is the best buff that you can give the team. But more specifically to the Astro, not to mention the card system in general just feels good and has an awesome payoff for it if you, pun fully intended, play your cards correctly. The cards right. But even if the cards don't fully go in your favor, it feels really good to still get the so-called consolation prizes. Crazy amounts of mana regeneration? Yes, please. I'm never going to say no to that. I can't emphasize it enough, and that's why it's the first point here. Bored of broil or glare or doses spam? Give Astro a try. You will not be disappointed. Reason number 2 is going to be a bit abstract, and that's because Astrologian is a bit of an abstract oddball healer, which is what gives it character and appeal. Astrologian has an incredibly high skill ceiling and a ridiculously long list of interactions between abilities in its kit, even within its own kit, not including other things like, what if a warrior uses Thrill of Battle? What if a bard does this? Nah. Even within its kit, it's absolutely crazy amounts of interactions and interplay between abilities, such as, let's give one example here, Sinistry. That's an ability that can be used to either burst heal a single target, adding 40% healing to a tank. Really good for Living Dead before it got reworked. But it can still be used to cleave healing across both tanks, or still burst heal, I guess I should have said. But in certain situations, that's going to be absolutely stunningly incredible, very powerful, very punchy skill. That makes your heals have such weight behind them. But now let's ask, what happens if you use neutral sect with Sinistry? What kind of bonuses are you looking at? And before anyone's just like, oh, I don't necessarily want to cast non-GCD heal, I get it, guys, but when push comes to shove and shit hits the fan, because most of you have probably been through Party Finder, you know sometimes you need to really pull out all the stops. It's really an amazing unique button to the ass. But as I was getting at, what happens when you pair neutral sect with this ability? What kind of crazy bonuses are you looking at? I'm going to leave that to you guys in the comments. It's actually really fun. Or let's take Horoscope. Let's say that your team only has very light chip damage across it that doesn't really warrant an on-GCD aspected Helios cast. Why not just cast Horoscope and pop it without the additional benefit? That's still 200 potency of healing. Why not? Or what about ramping up your heals? And with this concept, which I'm not going to dive straight into in this video, is basically the idea that you can go from like a baseline ramp and then ramp it up further with further abilities until you have like a massive amount of healing that you're pumping out. But yes, say you start out baseline with Celestial Opposition, which is great, but what if you need more kick? Then you add in more with Collective Unconscious, and then you just keep ramping up and up from there all the way to reason number 6 that we'll get into later with neutral sect, because good lord, that ability is crazy. Astrologian is for sure an oddball healer, and that feels so freaking good. Reason number 3 is that Astrologian has a playstyle that massively rewards planning ahead of time, and I mean massively. We have abilities like Horoscope, Earthly Star, and Macrocosmos. When any of those are timed appropriately ahead of a mechanic or set of mechanics, those have incredible payoffs. Earthly Star's potency goes stupidly crazy high. Horoscope can be precast and delayed up to 30 seconds after. Macrocosmos set ahead of a mechanic is super bonkers, super rewarding. There's a reason why people want an Astrologian for P3S Life's Agonies mechanic, which just overwhelms the party with damage. A lot of healers do limit break. Me and my co-healer, my boyfriend, have figured out how to actually get through that mechanic just with Sage and Scholar, or with with White Mage or Sage, White Mage, Scholar, no problem. But most parties you will see genuinely gravitate towards that just because Macrocosmos Macrocosmos is that crazy. So I'm talking about serious payoffs here. Reason number 4 is that Macrocosmos ability. Imagine an ability that has the potential to quite literally fully heal the entire party's health to maximum after a set of mechanics. An area of effect benediction if you come from White Mage. Yeah, Astrologian's Macrocosmos ability does that, and it feels absolutely wild. Reason number 5 is that the Astrologian has a playstyle that is largely focused on really taking advantage of the absolute monstrous set of tools in the off-GCD window. For real though, the Astrologian has an off global cooldown ability for nearly every situation. AoE healing? Bam. Ton of buttons for that. Single target support? Bam. Tons of that. Pinch heals? Yep, look over there. Incoming damage mitigation? Yeah. The Astrologian really plays in the off GCD window, and it has an answer for almost everything in there. Now reason number 6 is a bit of a meme, but you know it is such a meme that I was like, who cares about MP in a video about perks and benefits? But guys, I cannot emphasize that this is so funny. Astrologian, honest to goodness, basically has an infinite well of MP. Between Lucid Dreaming, Astrodyne, and their massive well of off-GCD abilities, the Astrologian is literally the Energizer Bunny of healers in 14. I'd say it's pretty funny, but for real, if you play Astro and then other healers, you know Astrologian is bringing MP to you every ball. It's absolutely ridiculous, and you know it. Now we are at reason number 7, and it's neutral sect, and good lord, I need to sit down for this one. I definitely saved the best for last, and I'm not joking. Neutral sect is an absolutely so-called god tier ability, as so many people have put it, and the hype is real for this ability. This is not manufactured hype. This is absolutely worthy of that title. This ability 100 billion trillion %, and note that is over 9,000. Neutral sect is bringing the heat, and that is no joke. First of all, it buffs all of your on GCD healing by 20%, which is fantastic in its own. And yeah, I realize unfortunately that doesn't include your off GCD abilities. If it did, good god, that would probably be comical. But 20% on your GCD heals is really strong, because it also impacts your heal over time trickle on top of your direct heals from the AoE heals. So it just is like overall a ton of amplification. And then it also gives you barriers on top of that. So you can throw up just about 400 potency of AoE barriers per cast, 300 potency of healing in AoE behind that barrier, and then AoE heal over time ticking for almost 200 potency for tick. And so you're getting roughly 900 potency out of every single GCD. I realize heal over time ticks at 3-second intervals, guys, I know, but basically I'm just trimming the fat a little here. My point is almost 900 potency of healing every GCD. Guys, that's absolutely bonkers. And this ability can also be paired up with other abilities like Lightspeed for honest to goodness comical effect. When an Astrologian during Curtain Call pops this, the team is safe. And the Curtain Call ability, trust me, hits like a truck, but when neutral sect is up, you are safe. But this ability was also legendary during Terminal Relativity during E12's last expansion. It is an absolute monster of an ability that deserves every ounce of love it gets. It is, I don't want to say class defining, but you know what? It is absolutely very worth your attention. And that brings us to the conclusion of this video, and to say the absolute least, Astrologian is a healer that I can recommend to people full-heartedly, and it has its own vibe, its own style, and is unlike absolutely any other healer in 14, and that is awesome. Astrologian is breaking the mold, and that is great, and I can definitely hand over fist recommend Astrologian to everyone. Take care everyone, and as always, if this video is something that you enjoyed, I would super incredibly appreciate if you slammed an Astrologian Astro Globe on that like button, and can't damn that subscribe button. Take care everyone, and have a beautiful day.